Schmo with the pro, with the former two-time welterweight champion, 31-3, Showtime Shawn Porter here at Barry's Gym. Just finished up a workout. How we doing?
Man, feeling great and putting it down and feeling even better now to be sitting next to you.
We appreciate that. Yeah. By the way, do you know what time it is?
I got here at 11:30, so.
No. It's Showtime! Showtime!
Yeah. Showtime!
That's right, man. The Schmo was there at the press conference you had with Terence Crawford. It all goes down at Mandalay Bay November 20th, man. You're stepping up to the plate. You've never been finished. A lot of people call this guy the #1 pound-for-pound boxer. Why are you going to spoil this guy and take his O November 20th?
Preparation is key. Everybody's different, but for me, my dad has said this many of times. As long as Shawn's prepared, nobody in the world can beat him. So right now we're focused on myself, preparing myself, getting everything that I need in terms of sparring, conditioning, swimming, running, cycling, yoga. I mean, the whole nine. We're doing it all right now. Terence Crawford has never been in the ring with someone like me, and a lot of respect at the conference as well as there should have been. One thing that his coach Bomack said, we got to search the world for someone to prepare us for Shawn Porter. We're doing the same thing over here. You know, preparation is key, and I believe I have everything that it takes to beat this man. 12 rounds or less. I'm going in there to take it all.
He called you during the press conference the next best thing to Errol Spence Jr. You fought Errol Spence Jr. The Schmo was at that fight. Excellent fight, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you make of that when he calls you that?
You know what? It's funny because I said the same thing. He's the next best thing to Errol Spence Jr. Understanding that at that point in time, my list was very short. Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. I got Errol, and I knew that Manny was kind of far out the box for me to get, and so my mark became Terence Crawford. He's the cream of the crop. So am I. There's no one in the welterweight division like us at this point, at this level, and the fans are really in for a treat.
Without a doubt, you're the best competition he's faced to date. A lot of noise being made that this top-ranked guy, he's not fighting the PBC guys. Of course, Shawn Porter steps up to the plate. He volunteers his name, and he's going to be the toughest test to date. Now, the Schmo was just watching you get work in with Kenny Porter. You're a father, man. He's outspoken. You guys are the best-dressed duo probably in boxing.
Yeah, we are.
What's going to be different, though, for these next few weeks as opposed to all the other fights? Because you fought all the greats in this division, man.
Yeah, no, I'm a new dad. I have a 15-month-old at home and also a 3-year-old at home. And even though we've gone off to camp before, usually it's out of state. Now we're staying at home for this one, and I'm going up into the mountains. That's where I'll be. I'll be secluding myself. No one to entertain, no one to run after, chase after, anything like that. Everything that I'm doing right now until November 21st is focused on Terence Crawford. I do other things, my TV, my podcast, all that kind of stuff. Even in those moments, I'm still focused on Terence Crawford. So you people will start to see that it may seem like I'm ignoring you. No, I'm just kind of, my focus is a little different right now, as it should be. So I'm taking this seriously, man. This is life or death for me. I don't think my dad really cares for the way I express that, but that's how I feel about this fight. I feel that some of them you can go home and if it didn't go your way, you're like, we'll get ready for the next one. Maybe a rematch. I don't want no rematch. I don't want no next one. It's now or never for me.
We call it the Porter Way, the same name as your podcast.
That's right. It's the Porter Way. The Porter Way is the way we train, the way we prepare. You said we're the best two dressed. He's the most outspoken coach you'll ever meet.
No, you get hit with roll off of it and keep fighting. Don't stop in your tracks. You get hit with a jab to the body. Come on, man. It's not my fault. I told you since you this big to throw the counter right hand. If you don't let the guy hit you to the jab to the body, counter him with the right hand.
And very demanding, all that kind of stuff. All of that got me to where I am today, and that's why I am the one to beat Terence Crawford. Terence has never been in the ring with anyone like me. Terence has never fought anyone with the type of mentality that I have. Guess what? Same type of mentality that he has. If you put our mentalities right next to one another, they're the same. We're not quitters. We're not going to go home losers. We're going to leave it all in the ring. You know what I mean? So I think it's just the small nuances that are going to make the difference in this fight, and I'm going to have the better preparation and the better strategy, and just I'm gonna be a little bit better than him, and that's all it takes.
You're also a staple on the PBC broadcast. How has your life as a broadcaster expanded your game as a boxer?
And it actually has. I love broadcasting, and I don't think I really recognized it at first, but being able to study so many fighters, talk about so many fighters. And the other thing I noticed about myself, I'm very competitive. And so what I noticed about myself was I'm telling on TV saying this guy should do this guy should do that. This is the adjustment he should make. And then I come in the ring and I find myself thinking one day, like, I didn't make that adjustment. I can't talk about it on TV and then not do it myself. And I started holding myself accountable to making those same type of adjustments, thinking in the ring the same way I express it on TV. And that's really just taking me to another level.
With your analyst cap on, who should Deontay Wilder fight next?
You know what? At the end of the day, I think it's time for us to stop looking at Deontay Wilder as a potential great heavyweight champion and look at him as a potential very fun heavyweight fighter to watch. What fun, exciting fights are we going to see? We can still see him fun and exciting against Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, Chris Areola's still out there. There's a number of fighters out there that he will be fun to watch, and I guarantee that more of those fighters he come out on top of. I think that Tyson Fury is just the cream of the crop in the heavyweight division.
You stepped in the ring with him. You're friends with him. November 6th, it all goes down between Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Who's supreme at that super middleweight division, man? Yeah. What is Caleb's secret sauce to getting his hand raised November 6th?
You know what? His secret sauce could be him being overlooked. I think that people haven't seen enough of him, and I think a lot of people are not even discrediting him, but they just don't know. Being friends with him and being around him, seeing him train, I know that he's got the heart of a lion. I know a lot of us do in the boxing ring, and a lot of us, it's only until that time comes that you'll see that lion heart. Excuse me, this is that fight where you're going to see that lion heart. You're going to see all of the skill and talent that he has. I got a feeling that Canelo's going to overlook that for a couple of rounds, and then Canelo's going to be playing catch-up, and then depending on how that fight plays out, I think it's going to be a more competitive fight than a lot of people expect, and I got a feeling that this is a fight it's possible for Caleb Plant to win this fight. I think a lot of people don't think it's possible for him to win this fight. Very possible. Not just possible, it's very possible for him to win this fight.
And when you look at the lightweight division, a lot of good, young, up-and-coming names there. The Devin Haney's, you've gone work with him. The Teofimo Lopez's, man. The Ryan Garcias. When you look at all the names, the Schmo's missing a few here.
Yeah.
When you look at them, man, who stacks up as the top dog? Obviously, you got to go with Teofimo. He's got most of the belts. Who's underneath him?
You know what? When you're talking about the 135 division, at the top for me is Tank Davis.
Okay.
I think that he's the most complete boxer at that division. I think that power, explosiveness, speed, agility, his reflexes, his intelligence in the ring, top to bottom, I really do. I think that he's the best fighter at 135. Right underneath him, I do have Teofimo Lopez. No, I don't.
Okay.
Right underneath Tank Davis, I have Lomachenko. I think even though Lomo lost that fight to Teofimo Lopez, I think there's something different that would happen in a rematch.
Well, the Schmo's excited to see Rolando Romero against Tank Davis. That's going to be an underrated scrap.
I don't think it's an underrated scrap. I think that, you know what, that fight's going to sell. That fight's going to sell big.
We hope so.
It doesn't matter where they take it. That fight's going to sell big because both of those fighters sell their fights. You got on one side Tank Davis, who's explosive. Everybody knows what he does in the ring. He's a dominating force in the ring. Everybody wants to see that. And then you got Rolly Romero, who can knock out anything, can break down a wall, and he's not afraid to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that's going to be one of the that fight. I was a little salty that it got signed this year because I'm like, damn, I thought I was going to be the one to like really end this year. That's going to be the one to end the year.
There it is. Can we get a final message for all the Showtime fans out there worldwide?
Showtime Shawn Porter has been busy, has been enjoying his life, but has still been stimulated by the sport of boxing. You see me traveling all over, just talking it. A lot of people actually thought that I retired. I'm still here. I'm still more than alive, more than enough energy to take care of business. November 20th, you do not want to miss this fight. Not just because I'm fighting, but because one of the other best fighters in the world, Terence Crawford, is fighting. This is a fight you can't miss. November 20th. Buy that right now.
He's the pro, I'm the schmo. Las Vegas, Nevada. We're out. This is the Schmo with the pro, with the head trainer and the father of Showtime, Shawn Porter, one of the best dressed men in all of boxing. Kenny Porter, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
We just finished up the press conference over there with Terence Crawford. What would you say is the best thing you got out of what he said there up on stage?
Probably the best thing I got was when he said we'll be friends after the fight. So the gauntlet's been laid. You know, these guys have known each other for a long time, but the gauntlet's been laid. No more nice, pleasantries, nice things to be said about them. It's time to go to war.
Listen, your son has fought the who's who in the sport of boxing. We can't say the same thing for Terence Crawford. People say he could be the #1 pound-for-pound guy. He's right up there with Canelo Alvarez. Who would you say has been the best opponent your son's faced to date to get him prepared for this moment against Terence Crawford?
I'm going to say it's an accumulation of all the top guys that we fought. You know what I mean? The Errol Spencers of the world come to mind first and foremost. Obviously, him being a southpaw and Terence switching to southpaw. When you fight him, that gives us a great opportunity to look back at film, the things we did against him that worked and the things that didn't work. Then you got other guys that we fought like Kell Brooks, who prepared us for a lot of clinching and holding, a bigger guy as well. The speed of an Adrian Broner and the quickness of an Adrian Broner, being alert against, fast hands like that prepares you for a guy with speed like Terence has. Of course, we've been in there with Keith Thurman. Keith's got speed, quickness, power, movement, foot movement, all of those things. So I'm going to say all of those guys have prepared us for this night. And I think that's a part of the reason people look at the resume. They look at the resume and they say, here's the body of work for us in comparison to who Terence has fought. And, that's where that comes into play. And
let's flip the script.
I think that's an advantage for us.
And who has Terence fought, would you say, is the best opponent to date before your son?
It may have been Benavidez. I don't think the Kell Brook he fought was the Kell Brook we fought. I think that Kell had some injuries at that point in time.
6 years later, too.
And quite a few years later. And he had been, he'd been hurt in a few fights. So I don't think that was the same guy. And he didn't fight, the same way either. But, I mean, on fight night, all of that stuff, is neither here nor there. But we will use it to prepare, So, he's got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do as well. We got about 6 weeks to go now. And Shawn's in excellent shape. His weight's great. Mentally, he's in shape. He's very happy. He's feeling good about everything that's going on. Being at a press conference like this gives him energy. Interviews with guys like you give me energy. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that, man. Now, how would you say your son's evolved as a broadcaster to a fighter? Because he's a staple for the PBC Fox Broadcasting. And since he's been doing that full-time, obviously, and he's been training, how would you say he's evolved as a fighter? We're talking the IQ and the game plan.
You know what? I'm still waiting to see how much that is going to improve what he does in the ring. Because, he's analyzing these guys, he's watching these fights, and I'm hearing some of the things he's saying. But at the same time, I'm like, Shawn, you're going to have to show me that in the ring for me to believe that you're going to do that, because he's this super aggressive guy that's nonstop punching. If he's not punching, he's feigning you. If he's not feigning you, he's punching you, or he's coming after you. He's imposing his will on you. And I noticed that, his commentary kind of talks about guys being more technical and kind of talks about the sweeter science of it. And I'm like, Shawn, you're going to have to show me that part of it. But at this point, I'm going to take anything and everything I can and use it to an advantage. So what it also makes me realize is whether he likes it or not, which I believe he enjoys what he's doing, he's always studying now. He's studying more than he'd ever studied before, because he has to study these guys before they actually fight, so that he knows what he's talking about when he's describing their fight styles.
Well, Kenny, we all know that he got the nickname Showtime because of you, and he dresses well because of you. November 20th, it all goes down at Mandalay Bay. Can we get a final message for all the Kenny Porter fans out there worldwide?
I don't know about the Kenny Porter fans, but the Shawn Porter fans, tune in for this fight. It's going to be a great fight. I mean, I looked at that guy across the stage, and I said to myself, he ain't taking a step back. Bud's not going to take a step back. And Shawn's coming forward, and so it's going to be the irresistible force against the immovable object. And there's an explosion in the middle of the ring, and the people that are going to benefit from it are all the fans that buy the fight.
All the fans, all the schmoes. He's the pro, I'm the schmo. Here at MGM Grand, we're out.